Hello there and welcome back to another video to celebrate my 15 years of collecting, building and just playing with Lego. Now, today we have a very special video because I'm going to be comparing 3 decades of Lego Star Wars Battle Packs. Now, you may wonder, Lego celebrating its 25th anniversary of Lego Star Wars, so how is there 3 decades? Well, I'm going to be comparing Battle Packs from 3 decades rather than 3 decades apart. One's going to be from the thousands, one's going to be from the 2010s, and one from 2020, which will be, of course, the new 2024 Star Wars Battle Pack. So let's waste no time and just get straight into the comparison. Just before we start this video, I'd just like to apologise for some dodgy camera work throughout because my camera's literally on its last 5% battery life. The light on it isn't even working anymore and I really don't know what's wrong. I'll have this fixed by tomorrow, but just for now, you'll have to put up with a few out of focus shots. And once again, I hope to fix this by tomorrow, but I hope you enjoy. And of course, we're starting off with my very first set. My very first Lego set, Lego Star Wars set, Lego Battle Pack. It ticks all the boxes. This Clone Walker Battle Pack, which I've already reviewed, so I'll keep this comparison quite brief for the start. It came out January 1st, 2009. 72 pieces, 4 minifigures, including the 2 regular Phase 1 clone troopers, this sort of captain here, and the gunner at the back of the Walker. Retailed for $9.99 here in the UK. That's about $12 overseas, which makes it quite an expensive set at 13.9 pence per piece, but again, it was a different time, so this wasn't actually too bad value for money, and I can see a lot of people having picked up a few of these to build their armies, as at the time these were nothing but simply army builders, so it's really what they were made for. Now, next up we have this Clone Trooper Battle Pack. That's all it was called. It come with a Bark Speeder and 2 different legions of clones. We have the Bomb Squad here on the left from the Clone Wars, in their nice orange gear and very nice markings. Even got a little bit of toe print in there. So early on for clones, it was lovely to see. And now I don't actually have the official set for this. I was able to construct it all but that green line that runs through it. I thought that was a bit weird. And also comes with this Green Legion of Clone Troopers. I'm not sure their specific designation, but it does also come with an ARC Trooper, which is pretty rare to get in a Clone Wars set. There's only been a few of these sort of dotted around Lego's history. But for this build, 85 pieces, not far off the last one. Slightly more pieces, though not as much as the price increase. $11.99 here in the UK, $12.99 in the States, which ups it to 14.1 pence per brick, which again, it's a different time, but this wasn't exactly great value for a battle pack. Neither was it too bad. And of course, this come out in the 2010s, specifically the 1st of January 2011, where it run until the end of 2012. So 2-year shelf life, which is to be expected with most Lego sets for minifigures. And I must say, this Bomb Squad minifigure is one of my favourite clone troopers of all time, at least for this Phase 1 variant, and out of my collection as I don't have all of them. And now for the third battle pack, we're slightly increasing our price from the £10 range to about $24.99 here in the UK. That's $30, €30, and you can see the other prices in my review video. But this is the Clone Trooper and Battle Droid Battle Pack. It's basically 2 battle packs in one, and that's what we're going to be considering it for this video. 215 pieces, slightly more than double the last 2, but obviously has that increased price. It's only 11.6 pence per brick, which makes it the cheapest of all these battle packs, at least when you're accounting per piece. Obviously much smaller pieces, so that's not going to come across in the way, and is the most recent edition, having come out just January 1st this year. So we've got 2009 versus 2011 versus 2024. And as you can see, the first thing we'll be doing is comparing the minifigures for each of these clone sets. So As you can see, the first battle pack, the Gunner, was actually a very nice minifigure and is also probably one of my favourite clones just because of how specialised they've made it. In fact, it's only the printing that makes it stand out, and the back printing has nothing special unlike the strap on the newer Phase 2 Troopers, or at least the one we saw in the ATTE. But I really like just the markings they've got all over, and maybe I'm just a fan of the marked troopers. The other three figures were indeed this plain Phase 1 clone trooper, but we did get a few accessories with this first one that are lacking in both of the other two sets, including this flashlight, which I really hope Lego bring back, as it does look really awesome and would be great for even the characters like Mando. But also the pauldron, Karma and visor, we see the visors still today. The pauldrons are now fabric and the Karmas are printed, which honestly I'm not incredibly upset about, but it is a shame to see these plastic pieces go and that they're no longer in any new sets. Moving on to the second battle pack, I think this clone does outshine the originals. We've actually got some markings on it. We've got some toe printing for probably the first time in Clone Troopers, at least in these Phase 1s from this era. And some coloured arms just to make it stand out. Now, I did end up colouring all my Phase 1 Troopers here with red arms after the clones from Ambush. I said that in my review, so if you did watch my review, thank you very much. We get two of these clone bomb squad, which honestly they're really cool from a great Clone Wars arc, and I really wish we got some more battle packs because they were sort of few and far between. An ARC Trooper, honestly, I know this pretty much represents him well from the show, and if my camera wants to focus, you can see he's got the same everything as the original Phase 1 Troopers, besides the helmet, which is all that makes him stand out. I would have liked to have seen some difference, something else to make him stand out, perhaps just a little mark on his legs or something. Even the camera doesn't want to focus on this figure, so we'll move on, but that does sort of detract from the set. And we also get this Phase 1 clone with the green markings, very, very nice. And again, another good addition from the set, even though we get in two of them and we don't get a full 4 figures from the same Legion. It's sort of carried on to the newer battle pack where you can see we've got one of the shock troopers, and the printed arms don't come in the original set. If you do want the printed arms, check out Firestar in the description and don't forget to use my code for 10% off. But we also get 3 just regular troopers. Perhaps it might have been a little nicer to have got a Phase 2 gunner, much like the first battle pack on my left that I got. It would have been great to have seen this minifigure instead of the Coruscant Guard, but in saying that, it would have been nice because it first come out in a £120 set and wasn't really made accessible to people that couldn't afford the set. And that's actually exactly what they've done with this Coruscant Guard here. It was only available, and still is to this day, besides this set here, only available in the Coruscant Guard gunship. The only difference is they could have included this in the rumoured Grogu escape set for later this year. That would have made it a bit more accessible, and then people would have had a chance to pick up a gunner, and honestly, they could have even whacked a 212th Airborne clone trooper. If you've watched these videos for a while, you know that is the one clone that I really want. And do I regret not picking up Grievous's ship? Definitely not. It was overpriced and didn't even come with the right minifigures, but all the minifigures here look awesome. These just bring back so many memories, and I think I'm going to have to disqualify all the droids because it does give them an unfair advantage. So if we got a droid battle pack, I'm pretty sure we would have seen a few more droids in that battle pack, perhaps even 2 more B1s to go with the 3 B2s. So it would have been nice to have got a few more droids. Of course, it's nice to see the droids outnumbering the clones for the probably first time in a Lego set. I absolutely love it. It's a great battle pack. I'll definitely be picking up another. But would I pick up more of these for their figures? Well, this first one, probably not. Plain Phase 1 clone troopers don't really play too much of a role in Clone Wars. Of course, you do have the 501st Station to protect the Republic from Grievous's attack ships, which is a very nice story. They're all in shiny armor as they are new recruits. But really, you're getting 3 here. A few were sprinkled around other sets, such as the Venator. I'd probably only get the one of these. There's definitely potential for army building, and the accessories are amazing. But I feel like if they really wanted to build an army, this gunner does get in the way with his specialised markings. And perhaps getting 2 of these in the Venator and just sticking the other plain Phase 1 trooper would have made this set better. And likewise with the new one, you're getting 3 plain and then a Coruscant guard. I just feel like if this was another plain or perhaps even a specialised trooper and named trooper, it would have made it a bit better, because then people picking up multiple could customise, have multiple captains, spread them out like with Vaughn in the battle pack, and even just make them a regular trooper. So based on the minifigures, I actually think the 2011 one comes out on top. Not only do we get the 2 different classes of troopers, but if you wanted to build an army with both of these, you could just do that, keep buying them. And the only issue with this set is the ARC Trooper, but as I said, the helmet's the only thing that makes him specialised, so perhaps you could rebuild a few of these Bark Speeders you get in the set, which we'll look at builds in a minute, but you could definitely rebuild a few of these into some little clone Walker, and that would use all of these scouts. I'm pretty sure we see Mace Windu go on an attack on the droid factory on some variously named planet with a bunch of these scouts, so it would make sense to have a few of them. Again, I guess these 2 clones are putting a little spanner in the works, but you wouldn't be buying like 10 of these. You'd probably buy 2, 3, maybe even 4 of this battle pack, just so you've got a few of this bomb squad down here and a few of these clones to add to your army. So I definitely think it's not a popular opinion, and people would definitely be wanting one or the other. I think with the droids included, hands down, this one wins, especially with the B2 battle droids. They look amazing. It's a new mold for the body, but you've already seen that if you've seen my review. It's just these odd troopers. I guess the gunner sort of works, but there's only usually 1 gunner in a ship. The Venator, as I said, would have been the exception to the rule, so including multiple in that. But for an army, you don't want a load of gunners. I guess the Coruscant Guard isn't bad if you want to build the army of that. Same reason for this. In fact, it might be a bit simpler because you've got 3 of the plain Phase 2 troopers. And by all means, this is my favourite minifigure selection of the bunch over here on the far right, because even if you don't count the droids, you're getting 3 Phase 2 shinies and the Coruscant Guard. I just love the Phase 2 troopers, but the fact that you include an even amount of the both legions here, it would have been nice to have got perhaps 2 shinies, 2 Coruscant Guards, and get the shinies in another set. But as we haven't got another set with the shinies, I will take 3 in this battle pack, especially as I am going to pick up another one for sure. But now let's take a look at the builds. And as you can see with all the builds, these 2 really go well together. And I mean, it's a Walker and a Speeder. There's not really much you can do. And this one is definitely more for the nostalgia of the old battle packs than it is for a good looking build. I'm not quite sure what's happened to my camera, but my light is no longer turning on and the focus is going crazy, so please just try to ignore it and I'll try to wrap up the video pretty quickly. But there's definitely more of a build for the new one. There's a lot more pieces and I don't think the other 2 really have a chance, although it has to be said, this is probably one of the better looking Bark Speeders that we've probably ever got in Lego form. So I do really like it, and again, if my camera will focus, I've had so many problems with it, but hopefully it can just last this video and then I'll sort it out for tomorrow's. I think this does have to take the win. The Tri-Droid is not to scale. I think the best thing about the new battle pack is the STAP, which isn't saying it's a bad battle pack by any means. There's a good use of pieces, and you can even build a mech, a speeder, a walker. I've made a video showing off a few different builds you can build with the new battle pack, but I do think that this speeder is just as good as the other one, and for that reason I think this 2011 battle pack has to take the cake and be the better of the three, because the minifigure selection with the two different clones of different legions is a lot better than the 3 shinies and the gunner, or the 3-to-1 ratio. And the build, the Bark Speeder, is just superb. It really does fit in with the other models. It might be slightly longer than minifigure scale, but to be fair, it's a lot closer than this Trite Droid is, being a few bricks too tall. So I think out of the three, this definitely has to be the best. And £11.99, I mean, this will probably go for about £20 now. This will be an £18-19 battle pack, and sure, they'll probably include a side build like this turret, but I still think it's not great value, but it's decent value for what it is. And if this came with 2 shinies and 2 Coruscant Guard, or perhaps we get another one with 2 Wolfpack Troopers and perhaps 2 501st, as they're the most common clone troopers, I really think it would sell quite well. And we just really want a detailed Bark Speeder like this. I think many people would have chosen it over this, as whilst it's reminiscent for LEGO's history, and of course 25 years of LEGO Star Wars this year, it sort of had to be done now or never. I just don't think it's too great a build to add in a battle pack. Perhaps a side build for a bigger play set, that would make sense, much like the speeders in the Young Jedi Adventures sets. But for this battle pack, I do think there's a slight waste of pieces, and whilst they didn't have enough to make this, perhaps if they sacrificed all these little builds, including the STAP, because we have just recently got one in the advent calendar, I think a Tri-Droid and a Bark Speeder would have made, honestly, the better battle pack out of the lot. So my dream battle pack really is this, perhaps 2 shinies, 2 Coruscant Guards, and the 5 droids we get. So I'm really happy with all three of these battle packs, of course, just because I can mix and match and take the best from both doesn't mean any of these are bad. I've ended up buying most of these anyway, and though I didn't own this, I do have the minifigures from this because they're just great figs. So thank you for watching. Sorry for the dodgy camera effects again, and if you do want to see more content not like this with much better camera shots, do subscribe. Drop a like if you enjoyed my comparison of the three sets. We did sort of look at figures, sets, and then overall I gave my opinion. And honestly, this being the better of the lot sort of makes sense when you look at battle packs in general. People do tend to buy for the figures, buy for the bigger builds and stuff like the little shield and box that we get in the new battle pack don't really play on people's minds, even though LEGO are including them to sort of up the piece count and make it seem worthwhile. This is a somewhat fragile build at the front here. You might have noticed I've kept trying to not knock it off and failed miserably. But honestly, if we get a battle pack like this in the future, I think many fans will be pleased. And if the camera wants to focus for the outro, be sure to like, subscribe, and may the bricks be with you always.